You know that feeling when you finally get the raise you've been working toward for 2 years? You do the math on the drive home. Extra $800 a month, maybe $900. You start picturing what changes. The credit card finally gone, a real vacation, actually feeling financially stable for once. Then 3 months go by, and somehow you have less money than before the raise. Your account looks the same, your savings haven't moved, but you're definitely making more. So where did it go? Here's what nobody told you when you got that promotion. Earning more doesn't automatically make you wealthier. For most people, a higher salary quietly triggers a set of behaviors that cancel out every single dollar before it ever works for you. And the more you earn, the worse this trap gets. My name's David, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, income psychology, and why so many people with great salaries end up with nothing to show for it at the end of the month. If you're someone whose paycheck keeps growing but wealth isn't, hit subscribe and drop a like if this ends up changing how you see your income. Meet Marcus, 31 years old, works hard, does everything right. At $55,000 a year, he wasn't rich, but he was building. $8,000 in savings, 6% into his 401k, a paid-off Honda, cooking at home most nights. Then he landed a $95,000 role, a $40,000 jump, over $3,000 extra every month before taxes. So Marcus did what any reasonable person would do. He upgraded. Nicer apartment, $600 more per month. New lease car for client meetings, $540 a month. More eating out because he was busy and he'd earned it. Better gym, new work wardrobe, the vacation he'd been postponing for 3 years. Every decision was reasonable. Every decision was justified. And together, they ate his entire raise. 12 months later, Marcus had less savings than he did at $55,000. His monthly expenses had climbed from $3,100 to $4,800. His raise had vanished completely, and he couldn't even point to where it went. That's the trap, and it has a name. Economists call it lifestyle inflation. But here's what most people get wrong about it. They think it means being reckless. It doesn't. Lifestyle inflation is what happens when your spending automatically rises to match your income through completely normal, socially acceptable, often genuinely reasonable decisions, and it's invisible while it's happening. When you earn more, your reference point shifts. The apartment that felt fine at $55,000 feels cramped at $95,000. The old car feels like a statement about where you are in life. The restaurants you used to treat yourself to become the new baseline. This is psychology, specifically hedonic adaptation. Your brain is wired to adjust to new normals. The excitement of the raise fades within weeks. The new apartment becomes just your apartment, and your baseline happiness returns to exactly where it was, except now you need $4,800 a month to maintain it instead of $3,100. Here's the number that should stop you cold. A 2023 Empower survey found that 70% of Americans increased their spending right after getting a raise, and nearly half of those people spent as much or more than the raise itself. Half the people who get raises end up no better off within a year. Let me show you the real damage, not just this month, but over your lifetime. Marcus's extra spending was $1,700. Seems manageable, but here's what that $1,700 actually represents if he had invested it instead at a 7% annual return. In 10 years, $280,000. In 20 years, $874,000. In 30 years, over $2 million. $2 million gone. Not from bad investments, not from a financial crisis, just from automatically upgrading his life to match his income. And here's what makes it worse. Marcus's actual take-home increase after taxes was $2,000, not $3,333. Not what the offer letter said, just $2,000. His spending went up $1,700. He kept $300 a month of a $40,000 raise. But here's the part nobody talks about, and it might be the most damaging piece of all. Lifestyle inflation doesn't just hurt your bank account, it destroys your career freedom. Marcus now needs $4,800 a month just to keep his life running. His lease assigned, his car payment is automatic, his life has a fixed cost, whether he likes his job or not. So when his manager turns out to be a nightmare, when the role isn't what was promised, when they ask him to do things that don't sit right, he can't leave. He has 60 days of savings at his current burn rate. That's not freedom, that's a cage built entirely out of reasonable decisions. This is the golden handcuffs problem. Your income rises, your lifestyle rises with it, and suddenly you can't afford to lose the income, which means you have no leverage, which means your career stops being something you direct and becomes something that just happens to you. Here's the simplest rule that actually works. I call it the 50% rule. Every time your income increases, raise, bonus, promotion, anything, split it in half. 50% improves your life, intentionally, on things that actually matter to you. 50% goes straight to wealth building, investments, debt payoff, emergency fund, in whatever order makes sense. Applied to Marcus's $2,000 take-home increase, he gets $1,000 more per month to spend. That's a real upgrade. Better apartment, a trip he actually plans and looks forward to, quality of life improvements that are genuine. The other $1,000 invested over 30 years? Over $1 million. He gets both, the upgrade and the wealth. He just has to make the split before his lifestyle makes it for him. And here's what surprises people when they actually try this. When you sit down and consciously choose where that 50% goes, you realize you don't actually want half the things you automatically bought. The gym upgrade you barely used, the lease payment you stopped noticing, the subscriptions that just run in the background. When it's a deliberate choice instead of a default, your real preferences turn out to be a lot cheaper than your automatic ones. Marcus made 3 changes once he saw the numbers clearly. He didn't move, he didn't break the lease, he just stopped the drift. The next bonus went to investments before he could adjust his lifestyle around it. The next raise got split 50-50 before it became the new normal. Within 18 months, more savings than he had at $55,000. Same income, just a different decision about what to do with the growth. Here's what I leave you with. Your salary is not your wealth. Your salary is the input. The gap between what you earn and what you spend, that's your wealth. And that gap doesn't grow automatically when your income does. You have to protect it on purpose. Every raise from here is a choice. Let your lifestyle consume it and stay exactly as stuck as you are right now, just in nicer surroundings. Or take half, upgrade intentionally, and send the rest to work for you. Your future self doesn't care what car you drove in your 30s. They care whether you gave them options.